So I want to do a portrait analysis before I'm finished the portrait. I'm right now at the stage where I've done the composition and I'm starting the underpainting. All right, so it looks like this right now. All right. And I don't actually know where the underpainting stops and the painting begins because I do it all usually in 1 or 2 sittings. So I want to pause at this point and take a good look at it. Yesterday I did the tree in the painting, and it's the underneath of the tree, but I think the tree is the 3rd character. And I remember that tree because it was a beautiful magnolia that my mom has loved since I don't know when. But she's known that particular tree for a very long time in Washington, D.C., around the Smithsonian museums, around the mall. There's several gardens that we used to visit regularly because they were just beautiful, beautiful places that my mother loved to be. And that particular tree, she always wanted to get a photo of me and my grandfather under that particular tree. And this time she did. And so I'm enjoying the tree. And I want it to be recognizable as a magnolia, but my botanical skills are not great. Painting is less precise. It's more impressionistic, for me at least. I mean, I guess with the brushes that I have, I tend to use medium to large brushes. In order to get the detail, I am going to have to let this underpainting dry and then paint over it, which is a little scary because it's not how I usually do things. And it's going to yield a level of detail that I'm not yet comfortable with. There's a certain safety in having an impressionistic style because, well, I mean, the viewer doesn't always know what they're looking at. And the viewer's brain has work to do in Impressionism. And I grew up on the Impressionists, and I love them. I do love them. And I grew up looking at the Impressionists, French Impressionists in particular. Gauguin, Matisse, Chagall, like, I love them. I love them. Even if they were bastards, you know, bigots and sexists. Don't care. So in an impressionistic style that I have for wildlife and buildings and such, it suits me because my eyes are not very good, and in my real life is impressionistic. But it is. I can't see. Well, I can see forms, and I can see color, and I can see, but I don't see details at a distance, and I don't see them at close either, so I can't see details. And most of the photographs that I work from are snapshots, family snapshots. And there's no detail in there either, but there's a certain amount, but there's really not much. And so when it comes to making a portrait, my portraits are very impressionistic, but I'm trying to level up to a level of realism within the impressionism. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to keep the backgrounds loose and the characters crisp. because I like contrast. And I haven't yet succeeded in any of my paintings, really, except for these last two big canvases that I have over there, where I did succeed, and I know what I need to do. So now it's a little tiny canvas paper, and I can do it. I'm just going to apply the process and use smaller brushes. As for the tree is going to be more detailed because it is a character. It is taking a prominent place in the composition. It's almost like the tree is a long-lived witness that we really were there. In terms of the body postures, you know, I can see that there's a certain looseness in my limbs, and I can see that my shoulder is actually partially dislocated actually in the actual photograph, and my ankles are subluxed. I can see that too, and I've probably been walking all day and I'm exhausted in the photograph. Although I'm with my grandfather, so we must have driven. We drove that day in order to walk around the mall and the museums. We probably went to an art exhibition just before this photo was taken, because that's what we used to do when I would visit. We would go to the exhibitions. I like my grandfather's shoes, and I like how we're wearing matching colors. I like how I'm leaned up towards him, like against him, and that closeness and that comfort is still there. I'm not yet in puberty, and I don't think I've been abused yet, or I was abused long enough ago that I'm comfortable with men again. I don't know. I don't know. I think I was only able to be comfortable with men in the United States because all the men I knew in Montreal harmed me in some way. At that point, I didn't know my mother's partner yet because they hadn't met yet, I don't think. And he was good, but remote. Hard to get to know, and a little scary because, like, all men were scary. Yeah, that's my grandpapa. I used to call him Grand-Père Bernard. Oh. I like his posture. I can also see how he's relaxed. And yeah. Wow, I really do miss my grandfather a lot. Okay. Well, I'll be doing lots and lots of portraits of him as I do my mother's story of childhood in France. And I'm also going to be doing portraits of him because I'm going to be doing a story of his childhood in France. He wrote his own book. All his memories are there. His childhood growing up and all the way through the war. But yeah, I've been holding off on reading it because I wanted it to be part of my PhD, and I wanted to read it fresh and have all my fresh impressions. But now I quit my PhD so I can read it. So I will be reading it, and I will be turning it into a comic. That's my plan. So I think I have a couple of years of painting ahead of me. And my plan to make things into comics is first to paint, because painting is how I learn the body of the person I'm painting and learn their character. And then I think I can transition that to specific images for the comic. But I don't know if I have like the sheer number of drawings necessary in me for a comic. So then I was thinking I could do a lino print of the main images and then use use software to manipulate those figures and turn them into digital characters that I can place in backgrounds and make a comic like that. So that's that's my idea. And yeah, so I'm going to do one of his childhood. I'm going to do one of my mom's childhood, and because it tells the emigration story and why. And then of course I'm doing one of my childhood and the Little Tuner stories. We have 3 childhoods to explore. All right, that's all from me right now. Those are my thoughts about this painting so far. I think I'll do another thoughts when I'm finished painting it.